HannaTalk. What is up, One Piece fans? Simon here. Welcome to HannaTalk. Hope you're all doing absolutely fantastic. And today I'm here with a very special guest. Now, he is a voice actor who is best known to fans as the voice of Crocodile in One Piece, but he's also been best known across shows such as My Hero Academia, Vinland Saga, Attack on Titan, Food Wars, as well as projects such as Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, Borderlands, Dragon Ball, Made in Abyss, Alice and Zokaru, and so much more. Please welcome back to HannaTalk, the amazing John Swasey.
How you doing, Simon? Good to see you again.
Absolutely, and absolutely fantastic to talk with you again, John. How about yourself? How are you?
Doing well, doing well. I'm actually in Edmonton, Oklahoma, doing a signing at a store, and this weekend, and it's 10:20 here stateside time, 10:20 p.m. Just had a nice dinner. And now getting a chance to talk to you, but everything's great, man. Life is good.
Absolutely. No, that is fantastic. And it's literally, I think the last time we spoke with each other, or the last time I interviewed you, was back around 7 years ago, I believe.
That long ago?
Literally that long ago. I was taking a look back through the interviews and stuff that I've been doing, because I've been doing this channel for like literally the last 9 years of my life. And I just literally have to take a look back and see like when all these interviews happened. I was like, wow, has it really been that long? So there we go.
That's crazy.
Absolutely, which is just crazy, but absolutely fantastic though. Now obviously starting off with this, now obviously with what's been happening, with what's happened in the last couple of years with the pandemic and the lockdown, how have you been keeping things up, especially on the acting side of things?
Well, I mean, the pandemic was what it was, and we were able at Sentai Filmworks, where I work, and at Funimation, we were able to kind of keep things going. It's oddly enough that the voice actor booth is probably one of the safest places to be during a pandemic because you're isolated. You're in a booth by yourself, so there's nobody else around you. But we've been doing great, and since during that time I was actually brought on. I've been a contractor director for Sentai for a number of years, and I was brought on as a full-time director and employee, and then we were bought out by AMC networks like Walking Dead, AMC, and so now I'm technically an employee of AMC networks. So, but life has been good, man. A lot of my characters have been doing well, and they're starting this year in particular. All for One and Crocodile are having a resurgence and are making some moves, and so I'm very, very excited about what's about to happen in the next remainder of the year and moving forward.
Absolutely.
So life is good.
No, that is fantastic. And funny you were speaking about how Sentai was going through a bit of a merger with AMC, which is the company responsible for like as you said, The Walking Dead and all that kind of stuff. Because literally just recently, it was found out that the Funimation streaming service was merged with Crunchyroll because of the merger that was happening with Sony at the time. How do you personally feel about like a lot of the streaming services? Because it's become a huge part of our society lately, especially with like anime and stuff. How do you personally feel about like a lot of the streaming services when it comes to like anime projects and all that, in just with the overall scope of anime and that?
Well, Simon, I mean, it's kind of a multi-pronged answer. I mean, when I started doing anime in 1997, the viewer, had to get his or her anime on a VHS tape, and it was 2 episodes per tape. So to watch a season of 12 episodes was 6 tapes minimum at $25 a tape. Then it went to DVD, then it went to Blu-ray, and we still do Blu-ray, but now we also do streaming. And High Dive streaming service is $4.99 a month. So to all your fans, if you don't have High Dive, get High Dive. It's $4.99. It's a cup of coffee, and the access that is now available is completely different than what it was 25 years ago, and it's been great, but also I think that it's because of that accessibility, it has really, and the pandemic, oddly enough, has just infused anime with like a giant B12 shot. And now tons of people that were not anime fans in the past suddenly are like, oh my gosh, this is actually really cool. I really like it. It's good storytelling. It's great animation. It's well acted, hopefully. But I mean, it's like, this is it's just grown. And, we're seeing the fruits of that. After 27 years, this thing, it's like a giant mushroom cloud, and the cloud is still in its growing phase. It's not receding at all. It's still blowing up. And I think a lot of that is, again, and thanks to the to two things. I think dubs, because I know there are purists, and I don't want to offend anyone. If you like subtitled, more power to you. But I think most people like dubs because they don't want to read a movie. They want to watch it. And between that and the fact that it streams now, and you can get it for, even Crunchyroll, I think is $14.95 a month. So if you get Crunchyroll and High Dive, that's $20 a month. And let's say you get Netflix, that's another 15. So for $35 a month, you've got access to more anime than you'll ever be able to watch in a lifetime. As opposed to watching one show and spending $150 for one season. So the accessibility factor is just blown it out of the water, and the fact that it's really good stuff. And that has snowballed. It's good stuff. More money's poured in. It makes better stuff. More money pours in. It makes better stuff, and so forth. So it's just going to keep getting better.
Absolutely. And it's funny how you were talking about before on the whole sub versus dub argument, especially because over the time of the I guess you could say since the pandemic and the lockdown happened, that with fandom in particular in the anime community has just exploded in like the whole arguments that we used to have on the whole dub versus sub thing, but it's just gotten a little bit more extreme in that sense. And I personally think I agree with you on that, in that I'm a little bit more of a dub watcher myself as opposed to like a sub watcher, and I think just enjoy it for what it is. If you like one side, that's great. If you like the other side, that's totally fine too. No one's going to hold that against you.
Absolutely. If you like subs, then watch subs. Nobody's going to argue with you.
Absolutely.
If you like dubs, then watch dubs. And what I don't understand is why anybody would go, and it's usually the sub people that go, oh, if you watch dubs, you're phony. It's like, no, you're not. I don't, you're just let people, do what they do.
Absolutely.
One of my favorite Pink Floyd songs, the band Pink Floyd?
Yes. Yep.
It's a song called Fearless. It's on the album Meddle, Meddle. And there's a line in the song, and it says, you say the hill's too steep to climb. Well, you pick the hill, you choose the time, and I'll climb the hill in my own way. It's like, dude, let me live my life. Let me just do me, and that's the same way with anime. It's like, if you like subs, watch subs. If you like dubs, watch dubs. But don't criticize one over the other. for any other reason, it's like you still like the same stuff. You just like it in a different way.
Absolutely. No, I definitely agree on that. And I think that's something that a lot of, not just within the anime community, but in anything pop culture related, that sort of attitude needs to happen, of course. And yeah, I honestly think if everyone had that attitude now, I think the whole entire community, not just anime, but pop culture in general, would be a better place to be in right now. It's definitely positive, but obviously it's like exasperated to the point. And obviously the pandemic and the lockdown didn't help in that regard. But I definitely agree on that. And that's definitely a fantastic attitude to have.
Well, I just think that, it's anime is actually, I think, very unique, and it's not just a dubbed subset of material. That's like going, I love German movies, but I only like them in German, or I only like them in dubbed. Anime is a little different. Anime is just like its own little thing, and it's an amazing entity. I think that, if you don't, we were talking about this earlier. If you don't think that dubs are good, then explain why in anime conventions English voice actors have lines out the yin yang. Chris Sabat has lines that'll last for days. Well, it's because they like the English version of it. It's not because we think you capture the Japanese actor the best way. Like, we like what you did. Now, that being said, as a director and an actor, people ask me, like, what was your inspiration for that voice, or what did you, how did you arrive at that voice? And the very first thing that I ever do, whether I'm directing or acting, is I always listen to what the Japanese actor does first, because they are the ones that created the role. So I want to make sure that their essence, if you will, is captured. We're not going to, if the Japanese actor had a voice that was down here, we're not going to go up here with it. We're going to stay down here with it, because you want to stay as true to the original interpretation as possible.
Absolutely.
But again, it's even things with scripts. It's like, guys, they said that in Japanese. There is not a perfect translation to make it sound normal in English. We have to adapt it. We have to change it up a little bit to make it sound like the way we would say it. It's not changing the content or the context. It's just making it sound like the way we would say it. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
And I would also strongly suggest that I don't think Japan has a problem with it. We're making them a lot of money. So,
Absolutely.
America's, I don't know what the numbers are, but America's got to be a huge, and Australia, and the UK. But we're huge consumers of anime. And if Australia, America, and the UK went away, if English-speaking countries said we don't want anime anymore, they would crumble. They wouldn't go away, but they wouldn't be realizing the kind of profits they're realizing today. So I'm kind of like, dude, everybody lighten up a little bit, man. There's plenty of anime to go around.
Absolutely. No, I think that's definitely a fantastic attitude to have. And I will say on all of that, and I say this across on all the interviews I've done, and I will say it till the day I die. Anyone that asks me, why is it that you still go to comic conventions to this day forward? Why do you still do the interviews that you do on HannaTalk that you've been doing for the last 9 years of your life? And I will simply say straight off the bat, one, I go to comic conventions to meet the voice actors. They're my rock stars right there. And two, I do this to show a side of myself that's not just the musician and music teacher, but primarily to show my support to the animation and the voice acting industry, because it's amazing. It really is.
Well,
That's no problem
Thank
at
you.
all. That is no problem at
Appreciate
all.
it.
Absolutely. And also, as you were talking about, of course, with like obviously Japan being responsible for a lot of the anime that comes out and allowed it to get dubbed into English and being able to spread across worldwide and stuff, is that obviously there's been the reports going about a lot of the working conditions with anime studios responsible for creating a lot of those projects. How do you personally feel about the working conditions? Like, obviously, not just from an acting perspective, but from a consumer's perspective, hearing about the working conditions that have been happening with the anime industry in Japan. And do you think there's going to be a positive change to something like that, hopefully this year?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you, Simon. I don't really know what you're talking about with what's going on in Japan. So you'll have to elaborate a little bit.
So basically, there's been reports going about on like with a lot of the anime projects that have been happening, I think, not just recently, but I think for the last few years, in obviously the animators and the writers, actors, all that kind of stuff, being under such stressful working conditions, that it's kind of resulted in a lot of projects being less than satisfactory for the most part. And and also a lot of that, and I only just heard about this just myself, but personally, seeing a lot of the results that we've been getting for the last couple of years has been absolutely fantastic. And
Yeah. Okay. So I can't really speak to the conditions of what's going on in Japan as far as the working conditions. I'm not there. I will say that actually here, we've actually at Sentai, while we do have deadlines and we do have production schedules to maintain and adhere to, and sometimes things get a little crazy. For the most part, it's not as crazy as it used to be. And I think that what we're seeing now, and this goes back to what I was saying earlier about more people are into it, you can spend more money on it. We're seeing, in my estimation, far more superior animation coming out, far better stuff coming out of Japan than what used to come out. And you look at an anime today, and then you look at an anime from 1980 or 1990. You know, just the level of animation is night and day, and it's brilliant what they're doing now. And people are taking more time with it now. That being said, you know, I directed a show called Vinland Saga, and I met some of the Japanese artists and animators at a convention one time about a year ago, and you know they were like, "Yeah, we quit." I was like, "Why'd you quit?" They're like, "It was too much. I mean, it's just the animation rigor with all the fight scenes and all this. It was just too much. I mean, we did it, but we're like, we don't want to do it anymore." And so, you know, that may be a little bit about what you're talking about, but I just, you know, I mean, if you want to put out a good product, it's going to take hard work, and it's going to take a lot of work, and you know, you can't just, you can't just go in and half-ass it. So, I just think though that what they're putting out in Japan now is amazing. It is absolutely amazing. I cannot speak to what their conditions are of working or what their schedules are like. But I do know when we get it, I am just blown away at how good that stuff looks.
absolutely.
It's just like, oh gosh, that is amazing, you know.
No,
And it makes it a lot more fun for us to work on.
absolutely. And no, I think that's definitely a fantastic attitude to have right there. And I agree on that, in that we've been getting such fantastic anime over just like the last couple of years, not just from anime that has been going on for the last 10, 20 years, in the case of like One Piece, for example, but also with a lot of brand new anime as well, like Spy X Family, Buddy Daddies, the reboot of Rurouni Kenshin, and a whole range of other stuff out there. And it's been absolutely phenomenal, like seeing the result that's been coming out there, of course. That's yeah, as long as the result is right up there, and as long as like 100% is put into the project, and as long as the conditions are like in a safe and stable environment, that's really what matters to us. And the result at the end of the day is fantastic.
Right, exactly. with anything, dude. It's what's the end? What's the end game?
Exactly.
What's the final you want? What are you trying to get to?
Absolutely. Now, going across into some of the roles, I'd just like to say a huge congratulations on Attack on Titan, the final season. It was absolutely fantastic.
Oh, well, thank you.
What was absolutely what was it like in particular to have to like getting to do Attack on Titan, especially getting to do the final season of the series, literally just a few years ago, and finally being able to finish the story of probably one of the best anime of all time, if not one of the best stories of all time.
You know, that's a as an actor, we get hired to do stuff, and we most of the time are working on multiple projects. We're not, you know, we don't we don't just go, okay, this year I'm going to do it like a film actor would go. I'm in this movie. I'm going to focus on this movie, and that's all I'm doing. We don't have that luxury. We work on multiple projects at any given moment. So for me, I played Dallas Zachary in Attack on Titan, and you know, it was a great role. It was a lot of fun. At one point, he gets killed, and that's the end of it. You know, and I move on to the next show. I don't really think a whole lot about it. I don't. Well, let me see how it all ends up. So how does it play out or anything like that? We just kind of move on to the next project. We don't really worry a whole lot about it because we're just too busy doing other stuff and going on to the next role. So for me, in all honesty, it's I can't really give you a good definitive answer on what was it like to see it come to an end or anything like that. It came to an end when, you know, Dallas gets blown out of his shit chair, out of his office, and flies across the courtyard. You know, so that was it for me. And but it's a great show. But there's, again, you know, this goes back to what I was saying earlier, man. There's so many great shows, you know, and we were at dinner tonight and we were talking about this. I'm like, you know what? You know, it's a crapshoot. What makes it a great show? You know, is there you know, what made it so popular? You know, what made One Piece come back? What makes My Hero so big? What makes Demon Slayer so big? What makes, you know, anything so, you know, why is it the hot show and this show isn't, you know? And it's like, it's mind-boggling to me. I have no idea how to crack that code. So I just am grateful that I get to work on as many shows as I do, and, you know, hopefully they all turn out to be really good ones.
Absolutely. No, that is fantastic.
Well, it's kind of a lame answer. I'm not.
No. That's absolutely fantastic though. But that's really, really amazing. And speaking about, of course, with One Piece, now this year, of course, marking the 25th anniversary of the series, how did it feel to, like, having played Crocodile and being part of the One Piece universe for such a long time, how did it feel to hear about, like, an incredible milestone as that? Like, celebrating the 25th anniversary of the series?
Well, it's, first of all, it's hard to believe it's been 25 years. I'm like, wait a minute, whoa, what? You know, Crocodile was not in from the get-go. My first character was a character called Dawnfall, who was in the Skypiea arc.
Yes.
And that was how I first got into One Piece. And then later, I started doing Crocodile. But it, you know, has become such an iconic show. You know, there was a time when I had heard that there was so much One Piece to do, and it wasn't doing that well, that Funimation was going to, like, you know, we're not going to even dub it. We're just going to do the subtitle. And I think it was, I could be mistaken, but I think it was the pandemic that kind of gave it a B12 shot and made it like people went, whoa, this is actually a cool show. You know, you can only watch Lion King so many times, or Tiger King so many times, and you're just like, what's this thing called? And you started watching and you're like, this is pretty good. And all of a sudden people started getting into it, and it just started build up momentum, and got bigger and bigger and bigger. It's really been an amazing ride, and I'm just so ecstatic that coming up, Crocodile is making a resurgence with Cross Guild and doing his stuff with Mihawk and Buggy, and you know, I'm just looking forward to what's going to happen. So
Absolutely.
and then the fact they're doing a live action version on Netflix, that's really cool. I've heard, I heard this today. I have no idea if it's true, but I heard that Netflix also wants to do a new animated version.
Yes.
And I wonder, of course, the big question for me is, will they keep the same cast? Because there's another show I did that you may be familiar with called Evangelion, which was an iconic show. And when Netflix did their version, they recast everybody. And I don't think it went over real well. So I don't think if Netflix did again, I have no idea. I'm just spitballing. But I just think if Netflix did an animated version that was a shortened, kind of more like what the live action series is, if they recast it, I think they would feel the ire of the fan. And I don't think they want to do that.
No, absolutely. I mean, well, I can definitely say straight off the bat that, like, obviously speaking about, of course, with Evangelion, I was pretty familiar with that. Obviously with the recasting when they did the Netflix dub of the version, and having interviewed Tiffany Grant twice and Spike Spencer just a few years ago during the pandemic, like, hearing the responses that they had to that was insane. And I will say straight off the bat, I thought the Netflix dub did a really good job and everything, but I will say right off the bat that Tiffany Grant, Spike Spencer, and Amanda Winley, all the actors across the board, they will forever remain important to the legacy that they started with Evangelion. And I would say right off the bat, with the One Piece series, like, across the board, like, when I stopped at around the last time that they dubbed the series, which was just before they did the Stampede movie in 2019, and one of the best anime of all time, you and all the actors across the board did an amazing job in the series, and will continue to do so for a very long time.
Well, thank you. I mean, it was, I was grateful that Amazon came back and redid the movies with us. They did the 3 movies and then created a 4th one. I've never seen the Netflix version of that, so I don't know, but I have no interest in it. But I've heard that it is not as, I mean, I know you said you enjoyed it, that's fine, but I've heard a lot of fans were not happy with it at all.
That's totally okay, and there's totally nothing wrong with that at all.
Changed a lot of things, and changed story arcs and storylines and stuff like that. But, again, who knows? Who knows what will happen?
Absolutely.
Dumber more in charge than me. So.
Well, I will say straight off the bat, it's funny you were mentioning about the remake of One Piece, because it was just confirmed, I think earlier this year as a matter of fact, that they have confirmed that Wit Studio would be developing a remake to the series with Netflix in anticipation of the 25th anniversary of One Piece. Now, obviously we've got the original anime show that's still going on to this day forward, and knowing that the manga is still being written as of right now, even though Oda has said that, like, where like, yep, it's going to end in like the next couple of years, but then he's going to add something extra to that on top of it. How do you personally feel about like knowing that there's a remake of the series going on, even though we've got the original still going on to this day forward?
1 second.
No worries, mate.
Had to get my ice. I just hope that whatever they do remake-wise, they do it with as much care and concern that Oda would put into what he wants. Now, one of the things that I think that has made the live action so successful is that Oda has been involved. I don't think there's any question about that. I think the fact that he's been involved, he's getting to call the shots, has made it successful. Now, with regards to a new animation, what studio got it? Do you know?
WIT Studios. So the same studio that's responsible for the first 3 seasons of Attack on Titan and Spy X Family. So yeah, they're going to be the ones responsible in animating the One Piece remake.
No. Okay, so they're animated. They're Japanese.
Yes, I believe so. Yes.
So so this is the big thing. They are doing the animation. So the first thing then, to me, this is what occurs to me. The first thing is all right. So they're going to do the animation. So the question is, are they going to get the original Japanese cast? Number one. Number two is, are they going to get the original English cast?
That is definitely true. That is very much true. They haven't said too.
If you were to get the original, Japanese cast to do it, then it would seem to me that you would get the original English cast to do it as well.
I would assume so, but they haven't spoken too much about with regards to that. Apart from the announcement that was made, it was only made about a few weeks ago, I think, or just earlier this year. So obviously we'll have to wait and see once more news starts coming in. But But I'm excited for it nonetheless. And the way I look at it is that, all right, they're gonna get to do a remake of the One Piece series, maybe a more condensed down version of like the original anime, knowing how much filler there was in there. And it's like, all right, we've gotten all the story that we needed to do. Let's just condense it down to the story arcs that are important from the manga and everything.
Right, exactly. So, which is what the live action's doing. I mean, it's like are they gonna just do an animated version of the live action? Who knows? I don't know.
Absolutely, but no,
and if they do that, are they going to finish the original with all of its filler and potential filler and all that? Or are they just going to go scrap it and we'll just finish it out with the new? You know what I mean? Who knows?
That's it. But
I can tell you this. At the end of the day, as long as there's money rolling in, they're going to do whatever the fuck they want to do.
Absolutely, and
I have no problem with that. That was not a dissent on that. I'm just saying that they're doing this because there's other ways to make more money, and why wouldn't you do that? It's a valuable property. It's got a great value to it. Why not leverage it to the best ability you possibly can? I have no problem with that. I think you should. It's an art form, but at the same token, it's got a market, and you should send it to market. You should market it as best you can. So I think you do what you do, and I think the fact that, again, if Oda's involved, it's not just a sellout. You know, it's not just a, oh, they gave me $10 million and said, we're going to take it from here, and he went off to go live on an island somewhere. You know, he was like, no. He wants to, and I don't know Oda. I've never met him, but it just seems to me that he's like, okay, great, yeah, we can do this. You can pay me a lot of money, but I will be in charge of what's going on. And
Absolutely.
It will happen the way I want it to happen. Otherwise, I won't do it. And so for that, I just think, what a brilliant man and what a visionary he is, and kudos to him.
Absolutely. No, that's absolutely fantastic. And I think that's definitely true in that regard. But knowing the fact that they made the announcement of them doing a remake, an animated remake in conjunction with Netflix in celebration of the 25th anniversary, seems to say that, like, yeah, we're going to do this the way that Oda wants to do this, knowing that he's involved in the live action series as well. Anything is totally possible. So I can't wait to see what the result is going to be like.
I think you just hit it on the head. Doing the way that Oda wants to do it. I think Netflix is going, they're the ones going, we can make a lot of money. Let's do this, but let's give Oda what he wants. Let's let Oda do it. There's a great TV show called Episodes. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. But it's about a couple, husband and wife team in England that write this brilliant TV show. And it wins all these BAFTA awards and all this stuff. An American producer comes over, says, God, we love your show. It's great. We want to bring it over to Hollywood and do it just like you did it. And they said, okay, great. And at first they're like, no, because you're going to change it. And they're like, no, we're not going to change anything. We're going to keep it just the way you did it. You have complete control. And of course, by the time it gets to Hollywood, they've lost all control, and it's not anything like the show that they originally set out to do. And that's kind of the Hollywood way, right?
Absolutely.
But I think really, if Netflix is smart, if they learned anything from Evangelion, then they're going to go, we want this to succeed, so if we're going to do this, let Oda be in charge. Let him do what he's doing, and we will reap the profits. I mean, that's not like lying down, and that's not stupidity. That's brilliance. It's like, if Simon,
yep,
you know how to make $1 million. I'm going to saddle my wagon up to your star and let you make me $1 million. Why would I change that? Why would I tell you how to do it? It's like, no, you just do what you do, and I will be here to help you, and I too will make money. So I hope that's what they're going to do. I hope that's what's going to happen.
Absolutely. It's still early. It's still very much early 2024. So fingers crossed. But
fingers crossed.
Absolutely. Now, speaking about, of course, with the live-action One Piece series, now we've been getting a lot of successful, not just anime adaptations, but also in video game adaptations for the last couple of years, with Sonic the Hedgehog being the one to break the video game film curse, and One Piece, just literally last year, effectively breaking the curse of anime adaptations. How do you personally feel about like a lot of video game adaptations and anime adaptations now, knowing that we're going to get season 2 of the One Piece series, but also the Borderlands movie that is still going on to this day?
Yeah. So first of all, with going back to One Piece real quick, I'm very excited because I think I have heard. They don't consult me. I don't have any say so, but I think that Crocodile is supposed to make an appearance in season 2. I've also heard that Oscar Isaacs might be up for the role, which would be, oh my gosh. And I would love to do a convention with him, if that was the case, and do like, I'm the voice actor, you're the real live action actor, let's do a panel together. But with Borderlands 2, dude, that's crazy. I don't know what's going to happen. They've been talking about that and working on it. I don't know if they're still working on it. I don't know what's going on. I mean, I don't even think Salvador's in it. And Salvador's my character. I don't think he's even in the show. But he might be. Who knows? I have no idea. But, you know, the one thing about, I think, anime movies back in the day, and I say back in the day, I mean, 10 years ago, you know, anime's animated. So you can make anything happen. It's animation. It's very hard to mimic that in real life. Some of the things that happen in anime, some of the movement, some of the, you know. But I think, you know, technology has come such a long way that I think now you can, you know, you can do stuff. CG is phenomenal. So, you know, I think that they probably can make a pretty good Borderlands 2 movie. I think it's going to be pretty good.
Absolutely. No, that is fantastic.
I mean, in all honesty, you know, whether my character's in it or not, it's going to bring a whole new fan base to the table, and it's going to be good for everybody. So, you know, I think. So.
No, I think that's a fantastic attitude to have right there. And especially knowing in the fact that, like, Sonic the Hedgehog effectively was the one to break the whole video game film curse, and then One Piece was kind of the one to break the live-action anime adaptation in regards to that. I think we're going to see some really good results down the line, but we're going to have to wait and see as the year goes on. But going back to the live-action One Piece movie, my question not just to you, John, but also to the listeners out there, let me know in the comments below, when this interview goes up later today, let me know in the comments, what do you want to see them do in regards to Season 2 of the live-action series? Who do you personally want to cast as Crocodile for Season 2? And leave a like or a comment if you really want to see John Swasey make a Stanley cameo in the live-action series, or any of the Funimation actors for that matter, because that would be amazing.
That would be fun, dude. That would be fun. You know, I've not talked to Colleen about this, but I don't, you know, I've certainly not been contacted, but I often wondered, was she ever contacted by the, you know, Oda or anybody and going, hey, we'd like to get your take on this, because, you know, that voice is so distinctive. And I'll be honest with you, have you watched any of the...
I have actually. I have the entire first season.
Are their voices at all similar?
It's definitely a bit more distinctive. I think with the live action Luffy in this case, it's obviously meant to be a little bit different to Colleen's take on Luffy. But as far as the performance was concerned, the actual actor they got to cast Luffy in the live action series was fantastic. He definitely embodied Luffy as the character, and it's different for everybody in this case. It's like, for example, without trying to go too much into spoilers, hearing Sanji's voice in the live action series is very different to the way that Eric had played it in the anime, of course, because he plays it with a British accent in the live action series. In the anime version, it's with an American accent, so it's going to be a little bit different each time. But Oda did have a hand in picking the cast members for the live action series. So if you want to trust in anybody, trust in him, and he did, and it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Right, and I don't think that there's a, I mean, obviously there's no, like, Oda's not trying to go, I need you to sound like this person or this person. I think that, you know, one of the things we were actually talking about this earlier today is that one of the great things in the casting for the live action version is that there's no movie stars. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no Brad Pitt. There's no Jack Black. There's no, you know, and the thing is that not get hung up on, oh, that's so-and-so, that's, whoever, and you get hung up on their voice. You get to see this now as just, that's Luffy, that's Shinji, or Sanji, that's, Crocodile, that's, Nami, whatever it is, and you get to see those characters and really kind of experience the character, because you're not hung up on the fact that, oh, that is played by, I know that actor, they're, that's Helen Bonham Carter, or that, you know what I mean?
No, absolutely. Obviously, because like live action is like vastly different compared to like anime in this case. So I walked into the live action series knowing it was going to be a different take on the animated version. That having said all that though, I mean obviously in the fact of like the cast and all that kind of stuff was absolutely fantastic, and it was absolutely brilliant, the series, and I cannot wait for season 2. And I will say straight off the bat that the showrunner for One Piece has said that he's already started to schedule meetings with Jamie Lee Curtis to try and get her into the series for season 2, because she has spoken about how much she's a huge fan of the series. And I remember an interview I did a couple of years back with Brina Palencia, who most people will know as Chopper for the series because of her being good friends with Jamie Lee Curtis, where I said it would be fantastic if they got Jamie Lee Curtis as Dr. Correja and they got Brina to come back as the voice of Chopper for the live action series. That would be amazing.
Yeah, that would be.
Absolutely, because if they can manage to get Colleen O'Shaughnessy to come back as Tails for the Sonic the Hedgehog movies, why can't they do the same for any of the other actors or any of the voice actors that can pull off the roles in a live action context for whatever role that fits for them brilliantly?
Well, I mean, I think that you could always get just like with Star Wars, but it's with Darth Vader, you had a different actor for the character and a different actor, James Earl Jones for the voice and David Prowse for the character, but I don't know. You just have to wait and see.
Absolutely.
That's a weird.
Absolutely. Well, they're already in the midst of writing season 2 at this point, so they'll give us more information about what's going on, and fingers crossed, it'll go past at least by Netflix standards, hopefully past 3 seasons, because they've got a lot of material to adapt.
I think season 2 is coming out in 2025.
Fantastic. I'm not surprised about that, to be honest, because I know for a fact I think they were supposed to start writing by late last year, but then obviously we had the writers and actors strikes happen during that time, which pushed everything quite a fair bit back. So, and obviously based on the news they were talking about, saying, yep, we're doing Chopper for season 2, we're filming for the Arabasta arc, and like literally just this year, it sounds like it's going to come out by making it sound like it was either going to come out by the end of this year or the beginning or sometime early next year. So I expected that.
Yeah, probably so.
Absolutely. Now, going across into a lot of the other roles that you've done, now obviously you were famous for Van Hohenheim from Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, and of course Crocodile from One Piece, but also speaking about a lot of the other roles, like the other projects you worked on, like My Hero Academia, Rebuild of Evangelion, Vinland Saga, Food Wars, all that sort of stuff. But what would, outside of One Piece or Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, just a couple of questions here, what would you say was like your favorite like project or role to work on personally? And have you ever had fans come up to you and recognized you from roles that were outside of what you were most well known for?
I would have to say I get asked that a lot, like, what's your favorite role? And it's very difficult to say. I like all of them, but if I had to pick one, I would say, a movie I did called The Boy and the Beast, where I played Kumatetsu, the Beast. He's probably one of my favorite roles. I love that movie. I love the role. I love the cast. I love the fact that I'm in it. I love everything about it. It's a Mamoru Hosoda movie. Mamoru Hosoda did, of course, Wolf Children and Summer Wars. He was a student of Miyazaki. You know, it was a wonderful experience. Mike McFarland directed it, and he just did a brilliant job as a director. And it was just such a joy to be a part of. Well, I'm sorry, what was the second part of the question?
No. All right, so I mean, when obviously oh yeah, so the second part of the question. So obviously, when fans come up to you and meet you at comic conventions, yes,
right.
That's right.
So I probably got about six or seven characters that I'm really known for. But every now and then I get called in. You know, they go, "Hey, I loved you as Bowles in A Kami Got Killed," or "I loved you as well, actually, Dallas Zachary in Attack on Titan." Or every, you know, I mean, I'll just get random stuff. I'm just like, you know, my very first show that I ever did as an anime voice actor was a show called Golden Boy. And when I say that in a crowd of people, there'll be 2 or 3 people going, "Yeah!" Like, really? Wow, okay, that's cool. Thank you. But pardon me, I got the hiccups. Hang on.
No, that's all right, mate. That's okay.
I am not a fish. My daughter taught me that if you say I am not a fish when you have the hiccups, it makes your hiccups go away, and they have gone away. You know, Bowles is probably one of my most favorite that I'm not super well known for, but people know me for, because it's a great show. Kami Got Killed is a wonderful, wonderful series. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's great. Bowles is a wonderful character. There's a bunch of them, you know, little shows I've done here and there that I tend to forget about. That I do love, I adore. You know, they're fun. But I've been very, very blessed in that I have gotten to do, I don't know, 500 different roles, whatever it is. And it's sometimes very hard to remember some of them. But there's a lot of great familiar ones out there that I do love.
Absolutely. No, that is fantastic. And it's kind of funny hearing that because obviously with like you hear a lot of stories about a lot of actors that are known for like very specific roles. Like as we were talking, you mentioned about Star Wars, of course, where Alec Guinness would be most well known for the Obi-Wan Kenobi character, but he would get incredibly frustrated in just being known for that, knowing he was a hugely accomplished actor before he did and while he was doing the Star Wars series. But on the other side of that, you've got actors like Christian Bale, for example, who most people remember from the Batman movies, the Dark Knight trilogy, where he said, if I was just to be remembered as Batman when I die, I would totally be okay with that. So I guess it's kind of a bit of a double-edged sword in some way.
You know, that's an interesting conundrum, Simon. As an actor, you know, you want to be known. I don't think it's you want to be known as the parts you've played. I think it's really more you want to be known that you're a good actor and that you did good work. I don't think any actor really, whether it be Peter Sellers or a gazillion actors. I mean, Paul Newman or
Mm-hmm.
any of them. I don't think they ever want to be known as, oh, you remembered me as, so-and-so. I think they just want to be regarded as people thought of them as a good actor.
Absolutely. No, I think that's a good answer to have right there for stuff like that. It's like, yeah, you can recognize all these actors for like the roles they've done, but they were still amazing actors at the end of the day, in the way that like voice actors such as yourself, Chris Sabat, Eric Vale, Colin Clinkenbeard, all the people across the voice acting community are amazing voice actors. And that
I'll give you a great example. William Shatner. Watched him growing up as Captain Kirk. Thought he was fine. Didn't really think much of it. I enjoyed the show. I enjoyed the character. I didn't think, like, oh my God, he's brilliant. Later in life, he did a show called T.J. Hooker. And I thought he was a joke. I thought his character was awful. It was a stupid show. His ham, this. Then he went on to do a show called Boston Legal.
right, yes. Mm-hmm.
Later. So this actually kind of goes, it may sound like going against what I was just saying, but I thought his character as Denny Crane in Boston Legal was one of the most brilliant performances I've ever seen. But I didn't think of him as, like, if I saw him, if I ever met him at a convention, I would tell him point blank, dude, loved you as Captain Kirk, made fun of you as T.J. Hooker, worship you as Denny Crane. But you are an amazing actor. It's not that I love that character, although I did, but it's just, dude, your versatility is off the charts. You're amazing. You are a brilliant actor. And I think that's what every actor wants to be told. I really do. Nobody wants to go, no actor wants to be told, well, you sucked until you did this role. They want to be told you're a really good actor.
Absolutely. And I think that's definitely an attitude to have right there.
I don't know. Maybe I've had too much whiskey. I don't know. I'm just saying that, in my opinion, actors want to be told they are good actors. Not, oh, you're a good actor, I don't know, but you were great in that one role. It's like, no, that doesn't make me happy at all. What you want to say to somebody is, you've done a great job as an actor. And as actors, we all know there are going to be some hits, there are going to be some misses, and you're going to have to navigate in between all that. But
Absolutely.
overall, you want to just be told, you want to be known as you were a very, very, you exceeded at your craft. You did very well, and you were admired for it.
That's fantastic. No, that is absolutely brilliant advice right there. Absolutely amazing. Now, apart from like having been an actor and director, as we were speaking about earlier, one of the things that really stood out to me was that you were also the founder of Anime Dallas. What was the inspiration behind Anime Dallas?
A friend of mine who runs conventions said, hey, want to do a convention? I said, sure. I mean, that's it. I will say, running a convention is very hard work. It's, I'm not even involved in, half the stuff. It's very hard work, and the people that put on conventions, hats off to them, because it's a very hard job.
Absolutely.
There's a lot that goes into it, It's not just, hey, let's put on a convention. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, and but I've enjoyed it. I'm not sure I'm going to continue doing it, but we'll see. I'm kind of thinking, when I say I don't think I want to continue it, I'm kind of just thinking outside the box, and what does it look like for me running them and stuff like that. It's a very time consuming endeavor, and there are people far greater than me who know how to do it, and I may just want to let them start doing it.
Right. But no, it's absolutely fantastic to hear that you helped start off a convention in Dallas, which is like one of the golden places for like voice actors to be, apart from like Los Angeles and New York. Obviously, New York having New York Comic Con, and we have San Diego Comic Con, and then a convention happening in Dallas as well, which is in Texas, which is like, again, one of the golden places of voice acting. It's just so fantastic.
Well, and we've also got Anime Dallas and Anime Houston. So they're both fun shows. They do very well. I'm excited to be a part of them, and I just have to I've got to do a little soul searching and figure out how do I want to move forward with them.
Absolutely. No, that's fantastic. Now, obviously, in the last year, we ended up having the writers and actors strikes, which changed the industry in a really big way. Like, since those strikes had officially ended. But if you wanted to change one thing about the entertainment industry, what would you personally want that to be?
If I wanted to change the entertainment industry?
Oh, one thing about the entertainment industry.
More food. I don't really know the answer to that question.
No.
What would I
That's...
want to think about the entertainment industry? I have no idea. I mean, the entertainment industry has always been a very fluid industry. There's, Lord knows, man, there's a lot of changes. But I mean, I can't tell you anything that I want to change. I mean, more money for actors, more money for writers, more money for the people that are making it work.
Absolutely. That's fantastic though. That's amazing. And without going into any spoilers, what's next for John Swasey for the fans to know about?
Oh, there's a big spoiler there. I'm going to go to the bathroom. No, as far as me, I've got a couple of projects I'm working on. I'm very excited about Zeke and Zerlon. That's hopefully going to be coming to fruition in the next year. It's a animation series, and I'm just working on new projects all the time, and just like anybody, trying to find that next golden nugget.
No, that is fantastic. And final question, what do you think Crocodile would say if he was in Australia?
Get the fuck off my tail!
No, that's fantastic. No. That's brilliant. That is absolutely fantastic.
What part of Australia are you in?
Melbourne, Australia.
Is that Sydney?
No, that's completely different to Sydney. So if I haven't
You're
got,
way above Sydney.
no, actually, we're just down below Sydney, actually. So, if
You're
you,
down below.
yeah, so literally just down in the little corner which says Melbourne right there. Next, down on the bottom of that is New Zealand, and Melbourne is just right above that. So, yeah.
So are you in Melbourne?
I am. I was born and raised here in Melbourne, Australia, my entire life. So yeah.
That's the only time I've ever been to Australia was in Melbourne.
Wow, that's fantastic. Well, knowing the fact that we've got Supernova and we've got Oz Comic Con happening later this year, and especially with comic conventions going back on the rise in Australia again, hopefully one day, and I've been doing this, I've been listing you down to get you down to Supernova and Oz Comic Con. If
Well, put in the word. I'll come.
Absolutely, that would be fantastic. John Swasey, thank you so much. It's been an honor to have you back.
Thank you so much, Simon. Great to be here, bud.
Absolutely. And is there anything you would like to say to the fans out there in Australia and in the world?
Yes, I would just like to say thank you all so much for your support. Thank you all for your love, and thank you all so much for doing what you do. I mean, just if it weren't for you, we would be a bunch of idiots talking to ourselves. So I just thank you all so much, and I hope to get to meet each and every one of you someday soon.
Absolutely. That would be fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Well, guys, if you'd like to know more about John Swasey, you can check out the links, which I'll put to you in the description below once this interview is up later on today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, click that bell, check out the links, and don't forget to comment below as well in the future. Thank you so much for listening. This is Simon and John Swasey signing off. Bye for now.